You're listening to another Woodshop podcast, the okayest podcast of its type. Your hosts are Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, Peter Kapar of Petree's Workshop, and Braden Boakes of Littlebug Woodworking. You can find them as well as the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
Welcome to episode 237 of Another Woodshop podcast. The podcast that celebrates the drive to do better. Like Dan, doing better in his business, his health, even his dust collection, all thanks to a little performance-enhancing Sutton. And me, a grown man trying his best, finally getting his butt in gear and getting a late start on my goals for 2025. And Braden, who regularly tells us how much better he is than all the other cabinet makers, often saying, and I quote, "How hard can it be if they can do it?" Wow, that's really rude to say about like Scotty, Jake, and the rest of them, but really rude. Really rude, Braden. What's going on, boys?
Listen, it's just my words that drive them to do better.
They just slap a couple of lamellos in there, and then they're good. It's whatever.
I am not taking part of this.
Yeah, the word lame is right in there. Lamello.
You know what's not a lamello?
LO, our patrons.
There we go.
I'm betting is what you're getting at. We have, hold on, let me get out my list here. We got 3 new patrons, and they are as follows. Andy at Carver Craft Co. James at Night Shift Woodworks. I think I saw James on the Discord server, by the way. And Danny with an I. That's it.
Ooh.
Those are our new patrons. You know, we have other patrons that we like to talk about, and those are our VIPs. And this list just gets longer every week, it feels like. So buckle up. Here we go. It is Chris Greenwood over at Evolution Custom Woodworking. The Knot in Your Wood. Alex Duffy at Duffy Craft House? No. The Woodcraft of the Duffster?
The Crafty House of the Duffies.
That's it.
Duffy Woodapalooza.
Prepping for the Mayo Smackdown. That is Greg Bennett over at Wendy Acres Works. Damon from BWG Woodworking, Jeremy Claybaugh, Mike Elliott from Woodwork and Weld, Jake Miller at a sweet shop. Is that a J-Rod in Braden's pants, or is he just happy? That's Alex Adams. John Herbolsheimer over at Living Laugh Woodworks, Jared LaPuma, a.k.a. J-Rod at LL Builds, Tyler Booth from Temecula Yard Games, Henry Luton's at Manfreda Wood, Charlie Coons from Stubby K Studio, Justin Frazier Canyon Woodworks, Sarah with Rosie's Woodshop. Is it too cold out? Okay. It is actually, Sarah. It's way too cold. Way too cold for humans. El Jefe de la Madera. That is Jeff from Maker's Way. A little tip for the future listener. He may or may not be joining us for a podcast episode.
Don't spoil it.
Oh, take that back. Scratch that. Victor over at Whim Designs. No more Boom Boom. That continues to be Nick Brim. He doesn't like my Boom Boom habit.
Boomless Dan.
Tough. Max and Liz Reed over at Reed Design Co. Bill Burkle at WTB Woodworking. Malcolm at Bossa Nova Woodworks. If you're watching the video, you saw me gesture. KY Mayo Emporium. That is Jake Coneen at Dobby's Craft House. Crafted with Machines is Patrick Gensel.
Hey, the new name's in full swing.
Hey, look at that. It's official.
He has only done non-funny, non-bit names. I want to know what podcast he's cheating on us with.
That is absolutely what's happening. Continuing it is Ed Mancini at Mancini Woodworking, Chris at Chris Will Make, Scott Shirk over at Red Lake Custom Woodworks, Max and Mindy Coons over at Stubby K Studio, The Beasts, Justin Bailey at Campfire Woodworks, John Grubb at A Grub Will Make. That is it. That is everybody in our VIP lists.
Wow, wow, wee, wow.
My favorites. I do have
There's
favorites.
a lot of them. And
not about that favorites.
I will always read all the VIPs. I don't care how long that list gets. I don't care if the reading takes 2 hours in and of itself.
We'll have a pre-show, a Patreon read show, and then the show.
We're
Happily.
gonna have to record it beforehand and then speed it up by like 50%.
Like Micro Machine speed.
Yeah.
I was thinking like
Foreshadowing, Dan.
like all of the side effects from like a drug company, but
Again, foreshadowing, guys.
that too.
4? How many shadows? 4 of them?
Not 3, not 5. Foreshadowing to that voicemail we got, the one with the stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
with the things on the
yeah.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember that one time?
The one from the
Yeah.
government?
At voicemail
I
camp?
understand. Yes.
Jazz.
I am done talking about the patrons. We love them long time. If you want to join our patronage, you can go over to patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcast. We got a lot of things going on for patrons these days, so you might want to go check it out.
Like
Speaking of which,
like right now.
we're doing a giveaway.
Yeah.
Hey, weren't we supposed to draw?
That's next week.
Is
Next
it next week? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm terrible at drawing, by the way.
Brayden, you want to talk about what we were going to draw?
Yeah, you guys have one more week to join one of our patron tiers. You can also, if the URL was too long, you could go to iloveawp.com and it'll take you right there. And next week we are going to draw a winner for a FL Sun T1 Pro 3D printer,
Delta style.
Delta style. That's
That
right.
means 3, like us. On this
Trace
podcast.
We're a Delta style podcast. Sometimes we also go too fast and jitter around a little
We're
bit.
also really loud and
lot of
we have
energy.
a lot of fans.
It's a really cool 3D printer. Go check it out. Last month we gave one to Ed Mancini, and he has told us, and I quote, and by that I mean I'm paraphrasing because he hasn't said anything yet. This is the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life, and I thank God every day for you three.
I actually have a quote from him, direct quote.
Ooh.
It said,
Nice.
I'm finally back from Canada. I can finally open that printer.
Wow.
So one of those two quotes is true. You pick. You pick.
One
But-
of them is true.
If you want a chance to win your own 3D printer, make sure you sign up. We are doing one
Sign up-
entry.
Sign up for what?
Any of our
Exactly.
paid levels of patronage. The $2 level gets you one entry. The $5 gets you 2. The 10 gets you 3. The VIPs, you get 4 entries automatically. And then if you want more, you can go to arethechairs.included.com, which goes to our St. Jude's page. And every $5 that you donate there gets you another entry.
We've
So-
gotten several donations over the last couple weeks. We just
Mhm.
got one today
We did.
for $55. I believe that was from Nick Vreeland. So he got himself, if I'm doing the math correctly, 11 extra entries.
Is 11 a prime number?
It is.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so make sure that you guys go do that because we love our patrons and we like saying your name.
And we're getting really close to our goal. We're $385 into our $1 million goal. So
Whoa.
we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
80 steps.
And that's this year. Obviously, we raised a little bit more. And all of your donations for last month's entry, we're actually rolling them over because we just like abusing ourselves and tracking things. So,
When he says we there, he means him.
Him.
He's
Me.
tracking this.
and by enjoy, I mean hate. And by abuse, I mean verbal, emotional, and aggressive physical.
By the way, I do
yeah.
want you to know that is 0.0285% of our goal. We're killing it, guys.
We're crushing it.
We're
That's
crushing
about the same amount that my Shibu Inu coin, Shiba Inu coin is worth.
I can't wait for one of our donated dollars to be the one that, like, it's the final domino. Like, cancer's done. Like, we figured it
it.
out.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, could be any
All
one
right,
of you guys.
we're done. It can be any of you guys.
Yeah.
But Dan put out a call. He put out a promise, a New Year's Eve resolution that we were going to do a giveaway every single month. And guys,
It's
we
happening.
might have more
It
prizes.
pains
than we do
us
months
to
this-
admit it.
Yeah, Dan went
It's
hard.
happening.
Dan's real excited about this, and he will not let it fail.
I can't wait to talk about the future prizes because we got some big ones. To be fair,
how many of those did Dan get? Or they keep happening. They keep appearing. But how many of them did actually Dan get? Dan's just getting his wish.
I've gotten 4.
The way so Dan.
we are Make-A-Wish, and Dan is our kid.
It's just a long.
And Pete and I
are making long-term Make-A-Wish.
I've gotten 4 so far. 4.
All right.
You've solicited 4 from.
I've solicited 4. Yes, that's fair.
Pete,
I'm not paying for these out of my own pocket. Come on.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, speaking of pockets, I don't know. This is the worst transition ever. But I do want to shout out our 2 sponsors, WTB and WBC. First, WTB stands for Wonderful, Tenacious Bill Burkle over at WTB Woodworking. That is actually what it stands for. Google it. He is our sponsor. WTB Woodworking is your premier source for all woodworking supplies with the store in Huntingdon Valley, PA. You can get your hands on for anything from, soon maybe some Dan material, Dan-made items.
He made an announcement on Instagram, so I'm kind of under the gun now.
All right, we'll see. So possibly some Daniel Dunlap stuff, some other maker-made stuff, like from Nick from Sated Woodco. You got some templates from that. And, of course, all the major brands we know and love, like Festool, like LaMelo, which is a hot topic these days. They've got Boss Dog Glue, Tight Bond. They've got all the great things you need. And you can get hands-on with all these tools, all these supplies, bits and bits, epoxy. And, of course, you can get to try out or check out the actual SawStop table saws, which you can't find in a lot of spaces, especially in the New Jersey, PA area. There's not a lot of showrooms. So great place to stop by and check that out. And if you're not close, you can always go online and order from there. And make sure if you are in the area, take advantage of the wood supply that they have there. They've got a lot of awesome wood that Bill mills himself, dries in his kiln, and he's also got he's got slabs. He can do custom work, flattening, all that fun stuff. So it's a one-stop shop for all your woodworking needs. Make sure to go check that out. And the other one is Workbench Con, WBC, the conference we go to every single year. And every year I go with an open mind. I ask the right questions somehow. And I always walk away learning something awesome. And a lot of the lessons are right there in the lobby, in the showroom, in the main space. The classes are great, but if you go in and ask the right questions, just talk to the right people, you can walk away from so much more than just the classes that are also great. So if you are looking to join us, if you've been like, I don't know, if only it was $50 cheaper, well, good news, guys. Use code AWP for $50 off your ticket and join us at Workbench Con in Atlanta, Georgia, this February 27th through March 1st. We'll see you all there.
35 days.
Awesome. Oh, it's 35 days away?
35 days.
Really?
Good. Do you know what the number one lesson... Why'd you
have to put a number on it?
You know what the number one lesson I learned last year was don't give anybody a piggyback while also trying to use your made-at-home Heelys. And I watched Nick Brim learn that lesson aggressively in the lobby of a nice hotel.
I think so. Sad news to report: Nick won't be joining us this year, so we should get his boots.
Remember Nick?
We should get his boots from him.
No, I think they fell apart. I don't think
they were obliterated after he did like a 20-yard face plant on the way to the battery.
What's funny is he kept wearing those boots, but they had the hollow out spots, so they could not have been supportive anymore. I'm pretty stoked. We're a month away now that we have our hotel booked, flights booked, everything. I am looking forward to it. I'm also flying with a good friend of mine, great maker, content creator.
Here comes the name drops.
Lover. It's one of our top tier patrons, Justin Bailey. Me and Justin are going to be holding hands.
Because he's a patron, we'll allow it.
Yeah, we're going to be holding hands in first class. I don't want to flex, but we are going first class.
I absolutely hate that. I hate not because I don't want you to have nice things. I just hate knowing that you have nice things.
I know, dude. And
because you're intolerable.
Wait a minute.
So reasonable.
Pete,
did you run this by HR?
Yes, Emma said it's fine. She was really mad at me too, but she said it's fine. because it made
Dan,
financial sense.
You would not believe how long I looked for first class or business class tickets that made any sense for us.
Here's the thing.
Did we get six class tickets?
we both
You're sitting in the toilet. Sorry.
We get the bathrooms. Yeah, we don't get seatbelts. We
At
just
least
get
I don't have to get
tight.
up and walk across somebody and be like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me, I gotta go."
You're in the class, which I'm always in the class that's like at the end when they're like, oh, there's more people. Oh yeah, everyone else. So whoever's still left, please come on.
I will say this. Whenever there's a crash, the people that survive are in the back of the plane. So take that, Pete.
But
somebody watched Survivor.
But hang on. I am almost always the last group because I book basic economy.
You're Polish.
Your seat could be right behind business class. But if you're basic economy, you're getting the last group, the group Z or whatever they call it.
Braden and I are group Z.
Yeah, they don't even let you check your bag. They don't check it at the gate. They just go they just throw it across the room. Just get
no,
no, you're not getting this anymore. The worst. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually excited. I get to see you fools. Get to hang out with all you makers. I do love that lobby. I do love hanging out with everyone, and it's a good time. But honestly, we keep talking about it every year. We got to just start our own Midwest Maker Con and name it something cool and naughty and edgy and catchy. I don't know.
Hardwood-a-palooza.
What was your idea, Braden? Outfeed table con?
Outfeed table con.
Okay, so it's very similar. A workbench.
So there's that. The Midwest Maker Meetup.
MFT con.
Con.
How about Midwest Maker Meetup for the Cure and whatever,
and
Michael
Fun Run.
Scottish sort of thing.
Fun
For
run.
The Cure awareness.
Yeah.
I don't want NBC on my ass for that one.
I mean, we're not stealing the name
very
outright.
Suey. I don't know.
Suey.
They're really trying to milk that office train.
Let's do the West Coast Maker Meetup Central Time Zone edition.
I don't like that.
Sponsored by.
How about sponsored by Menards? Ooh, we could get that to.
If you guys can lock down Menards.
Oh man,
we'd have to do it in the warehouse. We're gonna have to do it on the 11th.
Ooh,
I would be so in.
Just not November 11th. The weather's no. We need to be April, May, some nice weather.
Oh yeah, sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Not sweater weather. It's so
November.
much fun to say though. Sweater.
Wait. So speaking of events, we kind of loosely mentioned some events this year in the beginning of the year, but obviously we're going to Workbench Con.
Yes.
Yep. If everything's still on track, we'll see how things are with obviously LA's been in rough shape right now, but if West Coast, their movie premiere.
Actually, Surf Prep just announced today that they're back in the warehouse, but they're still
okay.
They're still having trouble. Yeah,
no phone
there
and
you
internet.
go.
So which is
they
almost
are back.
The whole job.
Which is almost worse. No internet. What is this? The 1500s?
I know, right?
Right? Why even go to work at that point?
But if the West Coast Maker Meetup, that's what it was called, right? West Coast Maker Meetup. That's hopefully going to happen in that was June or July, I forget.
It was June. Early June, I believe.
Do we have anything else in the summer that we're all going to together?
Not together.
I'm driving to Pete's house in July.
You are going to my house in July.
I didn't get the invite.
I am going to be away the week before that. I think. Is it? I think it's the week before that. I was going to, man, there's so many good events that one week in July. Dan coming in New Jersey, big one, right? Huge. Also, they have Lightburn Expo in New York, which is right there.
When is that?
That same weekend, the 20th or whatever. They're coming
Sounds like Dan's entire trip just became a write-off.
Yeah, make it happen. There's Open Sauce in San Francisco. I kind of wanted to go, and I figured I could have gotten at least one more maker to go with me because it's San Fran. We've never really gone to an event there. I was like, it'd be kind of fun. But
I've been to San Francisco. It's just
I'll be sweating my balls off in Austin, Texas in July.
Boston, Texas? I thought that was in Massachusetts.
Boston, Texas is the best barbecue out there.
No,
right next to Jersey, obviously.
There's no way it's better than Jersey barbecue.
Hang on. So I almost didn't believe this when I got the email, but
we were teasing you about Jersey Barbecue? No,
that was real.
We are.
I was talking with Austin from Austin School of Woodworking, located in Austin, Texas. No relation. There is possibly a rough announcement of a date for the Texas Woodworking Festival.
That date? Scarlett Johansson.
It is not November.
It is not November.
It's most likely going to be in September.
Oh, that would work out nicely.
Nicer weather, perfect weather, by the way, for like, oh yeah.
Yeah, sweater weather.
Yeah, sweater weather. Totally sweater weather. Hoodie weather. But then it's like, I think it's roughly exactly a month away from Maker Camp. So it's going to be like back-to-back trips. But instead of back-to-back into the colder season, it's going to be back-to-back with the warmer weather. So if that is true, we are most likely going to be there in September. So that's going to be exciting. And then obviously Maker Camp that's like goes without saying thing.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to happen.
IWFS is in July.
I can't do that one. Can't do it.
Oh yeah, that's actually the week that Dan's at my house.
Yeah, that's the week of my birthday.
So that's the week so Braden's going to be in Vegas representing the podcast.
Possibly.
Don't say that. Then he's going to think he can write it off.
There's a not 0% chance. Oh yeah, I'm writing off the whole thing.
No, I mean, you could write it off as Little Bug, but
I'm going to write it off for taxes as Little Bug, but I'm going to use the AWP card and then save the receipts. It's a double decker situation.
I'm pretty sure your card keeps declining for a reason.
Did you guys give me a fake card?
We felt it was better.
I thought that Play School logo at the top was kind of odd.
It's like I have a fake remote for Juniper. Same thing.
My first credit card.
Yeah. Like Netflix. YouTube.
Netflix is different. Don't go there.
No, don't go to Netflix.
Don't go there.
Oh Jesus, so dumb. But anyways, I just thought we talk some events because but yeah, we should definitely start our own.
It's gonna be an eventful year, boys.
Nebraska is not the worst spot for an event, and honestly, right now,
can I get a timestamp on that?
Hang on. Well, because I already told you guys, there is a small chance that there might be a little micro meetup in April.
A micro meetup? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
6 inches and up, you're out. But like everyone else, yeah. But we'll see because we're
going to be checking at the door.
Yeah.
Micro sustainers only.
Be fun. Speaking of micro sustainers, though, I guess we had a little bit of that's it for the event. We had a little bit of maker news, so we should probably play the thing that this is.
Good news, everyone.
Is that a little low?
It's always a little low, Pete.
What up?
Good news, everyone.
There you go.
There it is.
Speaking of micro influencers, someone brought up a very good point. Drew Witt is naming his big ass fan. He got a big ass fan. Apparently, you can name it. So send your naughtiest in your innuendo-iest names to Drew so that he can name it. I'm pretty sure he already chose the name because that's just how content works. He already knew the answer before he posted.
He's already recorded the reel. It's scheduled.
Yeah. I think someone pointed out in the pre-show that the best name is Malcolm because because Drew thinks he's a big ass and he thinks
Malcolm's
he's
just a big ass fan of Drew.
A big ass fan of Drew, exactly. So I think it's a good name.
I still think Fanula Anderson is the best option.
After Pamela Henderson, just everything else has the volume turned down on it. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like we could do better.
Listen, all I know is if you guys want to send just like the most off the wall names, send me a text. I'll give you
off the wall names
direct line, and he can forward them directly to Drew's direct line.
We need off the wall names for the fan. Well, he does. Send it to Drew.
Or send it directly to Drew.
But we do need off the wall names for our maker meetup. That's going to be in the Midwest at some point.
The best name for a Midwest maker meetup extravaganza palooza will be able to use the code AWP to save $50 off their ticket.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tickets are $51. So
I don't know if we ever mentioned this for Maker News, but Dustin from Shop Humble, he opened a second storefront location.
Oh,
that's just showing off at that
physical
point.
Yeah.
This is in this economy, being shocked that he had the first one because honestly, having a brick and mortar store is one of the scariest things to me, and I respect the heck out of anyone that can do that.
Yeah, that's a huge commitment. So kudos to Dustin over there. He let
Anybody?
us know that in our Discord, by the way. If you want access to the Discord, you need to become a patron, and we'll send you a link.
Yes, and as long as you're a member, obviously you remain in there.
I mean, yeah, if you
Yeah.
if you decide to quit paying us, you
But
might.
if you decide to
No
pay,
Discord
stop
for
paying
you.
us via there, you can pay us in other ways.
Yeah. I had something else for Maker News. Oh yeah.
Sorry,
Whoa.
I clicked
Well,
the video.
That was weird.
Zyla starts her videos at an 11. Sorry, I clicked the link in YouTube by accident.
I got an email today. Apparently, Armor Tool was bought out by Bora Tool.
Bora Bora?
Dude, I honestly didn't know Armor Tool was still around.
I didn't either. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought they just went out of business. But yeah,
They made decent stuff. I actually was kind of shocked when they went under.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I got a bunch of their T-Track, and that's what I use for my CNC. I like their T-Track. But yeah, so apparently Bora bought them out, I would imagine, according to the email I got.
I wonder how the rebrand's going to go. If it's still going to be Armor Tool stuff sold by Bora, if it's going to be the Bora clamp, the Bora Bora. It'll be like a Forstner bit
Bora.
set, a Bora Bora.
Okay.
Nice.
Hey, there we go. I think that's kind of it. I haven't really seen a lot of
I got one more.
videos. Oh, you got one more? Go.
I got one little piece. Selfishly, I'm giving away a CNC.
What?
I think that's
Wow.
Maker News. I think that's big news.
Wow, if you are actually giving away, that makes you such a good person. I can't believe you are giving away that CNC.
I am personally, technically I am. It's my old CNC.
Oh, so you're sending it out to someone. That's
Are
so
you gonna
nice of
sign
you.
it?
Oh, that's so great.
I
Are you
sent
going to
it
sign it though?
to Stone, and he's going to make sure that I didn't mess it up
Oh,
and clean it up. He's
so
going to rub it
Infinity
down
is giving it away.
in partnership with Onefinity. Little Woodworking is giving away CNC. Why are you making this so hard on me?
I expect you to answer my question. Are you going to sign it?
I am not going to sign it.
Why wouldn't you sign it?
I may go
Worthless.
purchase, because I just realized that all of the Milwaukee routers, not Milwaukee, all the Makita routers that I had they have seen some stuff. I might just go buy a new one to send to whoever wins it, and I might sign that.
There you go.
We'll
Just sign the old beat up.
Yeah,
Makita
you got to sign
router.
something.
I'll sign.
Why do you think I
that's what you
haven't
do
entered
these
the
days.
giveaway for the printer? It's
Or
not signed. It's fucking useless.
Or that 3D printed Pete head you have, glue it to the top of the router.
Not unless it's signed by yours truly. Then it's worth it.
Oh, by the way, this is a really weirdly good fidget. Like your ear. Okay, this sounds so weird, but
Explain
Go on.
what you're talking
Please
about, because
explain
there's
it.
It's
people
pretty
that don't watch
grippable.
the video.
That's right. I forgot. Podcasts are audio. No, I'm going to do the CNC thing first. Go to my page. There's an entry in my reels and in partnership celebrating hitting 2,500 followers, because I'm a big shot. I know you guys are coming up, but I'm a big deal.
We're so proud of you, Braden.
For the next week, you can get entered in and you can win a Journeyman Pro. I think it's about the same as the Pro, plus all the accessories that I had. So 7-watt JTech laser, all my extended cables, all my drag links, just all that stuff. Stone's cleaning it up. It's going to be refurbished. It'll be like new, and you can get a CNC for no dollars. Just
The cost of
the cost of
entry.
just the cost of an entry on Instagram. And if you want extra bonus entries, you can go donate money to St. Jude's by going to arethe-chairs-included.com.
Is that the same exact website that we use for?
I'm using the AWP
Might as well.
team
Lump it in
page,
together.
because end of the day, we're not going to hit our $1 million unless everybody contributes,
Exactly.
and that's me included. So here I am.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's like a Patreon, but for fight against cancer.
Right.
Subscribe every month.
Yeah. So there's that. Go to my page and you can win a CNC, and that's
That's dope. Good on you, Braden.
So speaking of CNCs and Braden's, why do you have my head in your hand?
So what,
Well, actually, you know what? Why don't we kick it off with this?
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Braden, how come you're holding a 73% scale version of my head? And why do you have a Forstner bit that's 3/4 of an inch that you are holding next to that head?
That's not a real thing. If you can't see the video, that part is not a real thing.
Oh,
yet.
but you're supposed
the
to
head
believe
is
that
real.
you're holding a head of mine?
I am holding a
Wow, if only they could
copper-toned
verify
head.
it somehow by watching on
let me-
youtube.com/Another Woodshop podcast.
Let me tell you about this, but first, let me tell you about cabinets. I'm just kidding.
Oh
So I'm creating some content for a filament brand, and they did just the worst thing possible. They basically just said, like, we just need some content, and we'll send you all the filament you need for it. And so they sent me
Nice.
this cool biodegradable metallic copper filament. And I thought, oh, that's going to be really cool for a bunch of stuff I want to print. What should I do for the content?
Hold up. Questions.
Yes.
It's biodegradable. Does that mean if you bury the head, it will decompose?
It means as I kiss Pete's tender lips, it will slowly dissolve. I think. I don't know. I didn't read that deep into it, or
that's
ask
what I'm
them.
going to assume.
I should email them.
So what is that? Soft lips PLA, right?
Something like that. Yeah, I think so. Just smushable. Actually, no, this is very, very hard.
One of you are.
So I was trying to figure out what to do for content, and I mean, you could print anything, but I decided I like abuse, and I really like what Dave and Luke keep doing, where they log into each other's printers and just print something without knowing or watching. And I thought, you know what? All my friends are degenerates. This is perfect. And so I got dear sweet Patrick Genzel, VIP patron, and
Crafted with machines.
Crafted with Machines,
And a degen from upcountry.
who does some 3D modeling a little bit. And I thought, you know what? He's usually pretty creative. He could probably think of something funny. And my only rule was, I'm posting this for a brand. Please do not send me 1,000 grams of filaments worth of dongs. That was my only rule. Like, it just no dongs. And he still sent me a dick. Hey, I'm just kidding.
Also, can we just talk about the fact that in 2025, someone over the internet could send a copy of another person's head to a third person's printer, and then that person can just hold a pretty freaking accurate version of the first person's head. Blows my freaking mind. The fact that we live in this timeline, it's kind of insane.
To be fair, that could have happened in 2024 as well.
Yes, but I'm just this is the darkest timeline.
But not with copper filament.
No. Soft lips PLA.
But yeah, so I'll drop that here, that little nugget of content. But so now I have this 73% scale Pete head, and I don't know what to do with it, but my wife is giving me some really weird looks because I'm like walking around
I
with
know
it.
why she is. She wants a little alone time. I get it.
Oh. Get in line. Yeah, so that's why I have Pete's head here on my desk looking at me, and I keep grabbing him by the ears.
I want to judge you forever.
You should. It's a weird feeling for me too.
I'm hoping that I help you not focus on things.
The worst part about this is, so what I've been doing is I've been printing 14% scale models of everybody off of the MakerScan project. And so I've got all my friends and they talk to me because, there's nothing wrong with me. But now that I have this, I'm like, man, maybe I should start over and I should just do everybody's head and then put like a line of shelves around the top of like my studio space or my basement.
Oh God.
Like just have a frame where we can't see it anyways. Just tell us tell us that it is there right now. Just say I've printed 30 other makers. No one can tell.
How do I delete my 3D scan off Dave's website?
I'm pretty sure that if somebody walked in and like came down here and saw the collection of heads, somebody would call somebody and I would not enjoy whatever happened next.
I think the problem is you need a printer big enough to print a full scale head. Because if you're going to go that big, come on.
Print the heads full scale, but you need to get the AMS. Is that the multicolor? So you can print actual color in the eyes and everything.
Yeah, because that's the creepy part. Like, your eyes look like somebody put, they put coins over the eyes for the ferryman.
It's like a Roman burial.
Wasn't it the scene from the scary movie or whatever, where it's like, what are you painting? It's my mother. She has your eyes. And they're just like stick figures with like circles with dots in the center. Just put those over my eyes. Next time you sit down at your desk, you unzip, you just look at me and go, and then
I should get some work done.
Work instead.
I'll put it up over the monitor so it looks like you're just peeking up and over the entire time. Like,
hey, what you doing?
Like I'm getting watched.
Howdy, neighbor.
That's it. Neighbor. I'm going to start putting these over, just peeking over the fences for all my neighbors.
Peeking over the fence.
Peeking over the fence.
You're welcome.
But other than that, I finished a project that I started like a year ago, and Aretha.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm finally knocking something off my honey. I can totally build that for probably cheaper. I just need to buy this festival domino. I started a set of nightstands like a year ago. They're made of maple, and I wasn't sure what else. And I got to the point where I have hers built. I've got the inlay and the epoxy done for, I put a wireless charger in there and one drawer. And then I got legs on it. And it's basically sat up there half finished in our bedroom for a year. And finally she's like, when are you going to finish these? Or at least mine. When are you going to finish mine? I was like, you know what? I'm doing that this weekend. I'm going to prove to you that I can finish a project.
Ooh.
And I did. And it was awful. Like, don't overexert yourself. Like, you need to take some time. You need to do like 6 months. Yeah. You can't just suddenly go to finishing projects. Like, you pull something, you hurt yourself that way. But I decided to do walnut inset doors, and I found like a geometric pattern. What's the word I'm looking for? Tesseragram.
I did like the
telegram.
Tessellating
panels. Like, it looked really cool.
Yeah, it's like a tessellating hexagon.
It was
3D.
a tesseract.
The Hulk was in there. So I did that in walnut, and then inset the doors, got it all done, got them all finished, and chef's kiss. The maple and the walnut is just busting.
It's a classic combo. You
should have painted it.
I'm probably going to. I'm going to spray it all. Just probably like
do it
weathered
in a reel. And
I'm going to do like a kind of slightly yellowed white, and then like weather it, for farmhouse. Yeah. So I did that. I went out and I looked. I never assembled the carcass for the second one, but I've had the pieces just sitting there, and I went out and looked. I'm like, okay, now I just need to slap this together. I've got it all figured out. One of the boards is started to warp, so now I've got to reprocess the wood and make sure that I've got enough, and hopefully it'll
just
be fine.
Wet the other side; it'll come back.
Just spit on it.
To make spray bottles.
Just dunk it in the toilet.
I've been doing things so inefficiently. But yeah, so I mean, those are kind of the things that I worked on this last week.
No kitchen cabinets? No?
I mean, but I've been talking about the kitchen island.
I know it's so easy. You just wrap it up anytime you want.
No, I'm really bad at cabinets. I'm not bad at them. Like, I can make them, but I'm not efficient at it. And that's what I was trying to get at last time I talked about cabinets. Like, it's a different train of thought. Wasn't a bad thing, even though you guys try and paint me like some sort of criminal.
I mean, just you seem so confident, like years of experience confident. Not just.
When have I ever actually known what I was doing about anything?
Well, was that one time?
Undisplaced confidence is pretty much like a pillar of my personality. I have no idea what I'm doing.
So I'm pulling up the transcript from episode 231.
Fake news.
I'm just gonna make all these on the CNC super easy. Bim, bam, boom, one weekend.
There's no way that I would ever say that.
Bim, comma, bam, comma.
I've never said bim,
pause
bam.
for effect, boom.
I've never said bim, bam, boom.
Hey, every time you say boom.
Dan, stop boom sticking.
Check episode 231. Go watch it on YouTube. YouTube.com/another
That sounds like a
woodshop
lot.
podcast.
Sounds like a lot of work. Plus, those guys, their voices are just so hard to listen to.
We're like a router.
I did get some work done on the kitchen island. I'm doing the face frames in place, which is not ideal, but to get a 4 foot by 4 foot island without having to go figure out a trailer and carrying it and getting it inside was going to be the hard part. So I did it in 2 halves. So now I'm face framing it in place, and I don't recommend that unless it's in your own place where you can just walk in and out. It's really inconvenient when you can't just like walk out to a full wood shop worth of tools when you're building stuff. You got to pre-plan.
The worst.
What is this? The future? So that's kind of what I worked on this week. Daniel-san?
I did a lot of things this week. It was
Tell
a
us.
very productive week, and I just don't want to talk about it. I'm done.
Okay, then talk about the things that Sutton did.
Okay, now you're talking.
Actually,
Sutton got a
really
lot of stuff done.
Talk
this
about the things you did that didn't involve Sutton.
week.
List is suddenly shorter. So what did you and Sutton do this week?
This week was about kind of making the shop a little bit more efficient. So I haven't had my laser up and running for quite a while since we did the big shop move, and I got the new planer in, and we moved my workbench across the shop. My workbench held my laser, my Thunder laser, and I haven't had that in the winter yet. So since I've had it, I've always just opened the garage door and pumped the exhaust directly out the garage door because it was like right next to the garage door.
Suck it, the neighbors.
Yeah, it's got to go somewhere. Anyways, finally got the exhaust hooked up on the Thunder laser. Sutton. So Sutton's idea was like, hey, let's just clamp this exhaust hose to a fan and put it as close to the door as we can and put that in your store. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And we did that, and I made the story and everything. I'm like, hey, how's this look? And it was kind of a joke, ha ha ha. So we left it there, and I was running the laser. I'm cutting acrylic because I needed to cut a bunch of bow tie templates, and so it was still pumping out the acrylic exhaust, which is absolutely awful to smell if you've never smelled it. And the fan was set up right next to the bandsaw, and I had some inserts that I needed him to cut out from the CNC. And he goes, wait, you want me to cut those next to, this was a joke, right? I'm like, oh, you weren't serious about this? He's like, no. I'm like, all right, fine, let's go to Menards. He goes, I don't want to have to report you to HR. So we went to Menards and bought the stuff to actually pipe the exhaust outside correctly. We cut a hole in my house and piped it outside, and that's done. That feels good that it's done. That has been something that I needed to do for a while. So
I love how many of these stories are Dan's becoming a better person simply because Sutton won't stand for it. He knows.
Yeah, he doesn't want to work in bad conditions or something. I don't understand.
He just doesn't want to fight it.
Right.
All right,
worth
you'll do
it.
it.
Also, a couple days ago, we went to Menards and we bought the stuff so we could redo spoil boards on both the CNCs. We finally got around to finishing that up today. Both machines need a new spoil boards really badly. I've been kind of limping along. The T-track, I do T-track in my spoil boards because I like that functionality better than like the glue trick, hot glue, nail guns. It just seems better to have some sort of a clamping system that you can reuse over and over and over and over. So we did all that. That was cool. I was trying to flatten. So after you do your spoil board, you're supposed to run a flattening pass to make sure everything's flat.
Oh, that's what
You guys know that. I don't know if everybody knows that, but so I was doing that on the big CNC, the Journeyman, and the damn thing kept shutting off, and I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. When you cut MDF on a CNC, you will build up static electricity at a higher rate. So the static electricity was like sending a signal to the CNC, the control box, and it kept coming up with like an e-stop error. Like it would kind of do like a little short out and it would stop. Yeah, Braden, it's a thing. Look it up. It's a real pain in the ass. But I got it done. That's all done. And, on top of that, we did Etsy orders, tables, bow ties, inserts. Oh, speaking of inserts, I finally sent Bill Burkle of WTB Woodworking. Go check him out. I finally sent him a box of samples. So what we're working on is he needs to have all my inserts in their own packaging, and it has to be able to hang and yada, yada, yada. And it's got to have a good label on it. So I came up with something. I packaged up one of every insert that I make, and I did a gamut of different wood species, sent them to him in a box. It's like a 10-pound box. So hopefully he approves, or he'll have, suggestions on what to change. So moving forward in the process,
awful. How do we make them
moving
less?
forward in the process to get my product in a storefront. So that's exciting.
I think the packaging looked good. You're gonna.
I think it looked good too, but
Yeah.
Ultimately, I gotta make Bill happy. I mean, it's his store, so
It's also
gotta
your
be-
product. Don't
Yeah, I
discount
understand.
that. It's also your product. You're in
I
charge.
understand. I got it.
Big
Listen,
daddy.
good
Big daddy
packaging just helps you get ahead of the competition.
Oh God, that frightened me. Oh, God. Pete,
I feel bad for that one.
Hi. Hi. I have to
Pete,
live with the fact
talk about your week and
Yeah.
why you're afraid of Braden now.
I have to live with the fact that another grown man has my. You know what? No, I have to live with the fact that I now am aware of one man having a almost 100% scale version of my head in their house.
74%,
For all we know-
74.3%.
Someone out there already did it, and they maybe hollowed out sections of it. Anyways, I feel like I did nothing this week. This is the first time in a long time that I did not feel like it was 2 days between recordings. Because, sometimes we're like, it's Thursday. How is it Thursday? It was just Thursday. The last weeks has felt very long. It mostly has to do with my job. It's just been super stressful. And also it's been like freezing temperatures here. I think we clocked in at below zero a couple of nights, and I'm not about it. Luckily, there's been no wind, but it's just been so cold. The shop's been cold. I just haven't been wanting to go out there. I've done a couple little tasks, little jobs and whatnot. But what I did do, though, is I finally sat down this week, and in between just being miserable at my job, I answered all those emails that were just sitting there, and that all took 10, 15 minutes to answer, but I've just been dreading. And and for the ones that remember I talked about it a couple weeks ago, were stuff that was due a couple months ago or maybe a year ago. And it was hey, project's still on plan, but just got delayed. And the responses have been great. Everyone's been kind of on board. Everyone was hey, that's fine. Totally understandable. Congratulations on the baby, blah, blah, blah. So, don't be afraid of that task. Don't be the longer you delay it, the worse it's going to be. Just rip off the Band-Aid. So at least I got a lot of stuff done, but that's kind of been my week. Haven't really done anything specific. Just been turning off my brain after work. So nothing's been happening. That's about it. Well, let's turn
worst thing to do.
on our brains and get into some voicemails then.
I have one question that I'd like to address. That
Yes.
both of you guys talked about.
Oh,
So I have seen this kind of all encompasses maker news and what's on your bench and questions. I have seen several people recently who have had shattered laser tubes because their coolant froze. Because
Oh,
of
I was
all
going to
those
ask Dan about that,
low
actually. I
temperatures.
forgot.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, Dan, how has your laser tube not freaking cracked?
well, it's quite simple. The Thunderbolt laser doesn't have a tube. It's an RF laser. It doesn't have a tube.
I thought it still had. I thought it was a integrated tube.
It doesn't have a tube.
There's 100% chance of Dan being right and 100% chance that Dan has never opened up the back of the laser.
I've opened the back. I've had to open the back
I was
several
going to say,
times to blow
and
out
both
the
of them
dust.
could be correct.
Yeah.
I've opened the back several times to blow out the dust. There's no tube.
Yeah, because Patrick from Crafted with Machines, he lost his tube a couple weeks ago, and it was
There's no tube. And
$900.
It doesn't need a chiller.
A moment of silence for Patrick's tube.
There it is.
I
Thank you.
remember
So
you.
as far as mine goes, I would go into the shop every single day, check the temperature in the shop. It would be about, I think the lowest I saw it was 45 degrees. Thank goodness. But when I get down to the ground, I was using my little thermal camera, and like the brick around like the actual stone, not stone, but whatever, the brick that the shop is built on, the foundation, was at like 20 degrees some of the nights, which
That's
is
below
right.
freezing.
It's right behind the laser, so I'm like, okay. But I would walk over to the laser and I would turn on the water chiller, and it would just like circulate, and it would tell me, like, I think the lowest temperature I saw was 6.9 degrees Celsius, which is like 40 or 39 degrees. So like still above freezing, but that was like one of the rougher nights. So every day I would just go out there and just like turn on the heat for an hour, just like warm up the place a little bit. Actually an hour, like probably be a couple hours because I would forget and come back in there and be like, oh yeah, the place is warm and I'm not getting any work done. But you know, technically with all the insulation, I would have been fine. I was just doing it to be paranoid. I'd rather be safe than sorry. But yeah, I don't know, man. I my heart goes out to anyone up in Canada that has a laser and is able to keep it warm through the winter.
So I know a lot of the lasers talk about like you can winterize by switching to antifreeze, and they specifically say like you shouldn't run antifreeze all the time. But then I've also seen that some people run a mixture, like a half and half mixture. Some people do switch it depending on when. Some just run antifreeze the whole time, like all the time.
I have not gotten a straight answer from anyone in the community. I've gotten plenty of recommendations. I haven't gotten a straight answer from Laguna, from Thunder. Everyone has their own recommendation. So I've gotten a straight answer from them. Most of the big brands will just or the laser brands will just tell you, during the cold seasons, do a 50-50. Some will even say just do whatever. But then in the warm season, change back to water. Now, I don't know exactly what the logic is, if it like wears out the tube or leaves residue or whatever. But I chose to insulate my shop instead of running the 50-50. Dan, high five. Yeah, air five.
Because I often start questioning myself after I make such statements where I'm so full of confidence. The Bolt has an RF tube, a 30-watt RF tube, comparable to a 60-watt glass tube.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means. I never noticed the tube before.
So it is a glass tube, and it is most likely there's a water chiller. Probably. Did you fill it with some kind of liquid?
There's no water chiller on this machine.
There's nothing in it.
There's no chiller.
But there is a laser
weird.
tube, which it might be maybe just.
Maybe RF is just like a dry laser.
Also, RF is radio frequency. RF.
Oh, I thought it was rectal thermometer.
Let's be honest.
I also keep my shop heater on 24/7. I never turn it off.
With the doors open a lot of times.
Dan's not here to save the planet. He's here to keep his stuff from freezing.
Yep.
I
just boomed again. Go on.
I've always wondered, because I have kind of like a mix of all those things. I've insulated my shop. I keep and this also kind of applies to the spindle because it's a water chilled spindle.
Yeah, same.
And so I keep those are back in the back where my Mr. Cool is. And so even when it gets down so low that there's like no heat for the heat pump to pull and pump into the shop, it's at least getting lukewarm air. Like that area is the warmest part of the shop. And then I'm going to be honest, like I panicked after seeing multiple people's lasers crack. I've just left my chiller and my pump for my spindle running just for the last
That's
week.
Actually a great solution. You can just leave it
them on.
running. Like Dan's actually said he's never turned his off.
Yeah, I don't turn them off.
His spindle is just always on. He might not even have water in there. It's just running.
No, it's run. I got the little water gauge in there. I look and make sure it's running every day.
By the way, note
water is brown at this point, but it's still running.
Like in the last week when I was doing a little bit of insulation and stuff, I did swap out my water on my spindle, and it was a little slimy. So the new distilled water I put in there, I put a couple of drops of bleach just to kill bacteria, because I was getting some like sludginess. It wasn't really like that dirty, but like when I pulled out the pump, like a booger came off of it. I'm like, okay, well, there's something alive in here.
Ew.
I know.
And then I also, I run 50-50 all the time too, in both.
Just raw dog it with water.
No.
Yeah, I'm just running straight distilled water in mine.
I'm less particular about like how well, like I don't follow the manufacturer required mileage checkups sort of thing. Like I'm maintenance. I ride them hard and put them away wet, Dan style.
Yeah,
I ride them wet and put them away hard.
So I try and stack the deck in my favor wherever I can. So, but I think having the water or the whatever fluid moving, I think that would help a lot.
Absolutely. And I've seen people do even like inline heaters or aquarium heaters, especially with those like chillers, the 3000, whatever the white one is. People have put like aquarium heaters in the top right into the thing. So the water is actually circulating through a heater. Could do that too.
Well, I never turn mine off because the way I look at it is it's an aquarium pump. So it's supposed to run constantly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Otherwise the fish die, right? So
you don't want the funnel to die. Logic is there. I hate when Dan's right.
Yee.
Sometimes for decoration, I will actually put goldfish into my spindle water. Just, it's kind of like a koi pond sort of thing. Goldfish.
Yeah, crackers.
Whoa, what did
back
you
to
call
the
me?
Thunder Laser. Back to the Thunder Laser. The Thunder website says RF laser tube far more efficient than glass when engraving. So the RF laser tube is not glass, is how I'm reading that, because it says it's more efficient than glass.
But is it using glass as in like that's a type of tube, or is it using like
know.
this is the material? Like
I will go look even
is it
harder.
Made of duct tape
tomorrow.
Or plastic?
I'm assuming it's probably made of duct tape. Yes,
it's made of radio frequency.
Very duct tapey. No, it's not.
It's a non-physical tube. Like it's
a non-Newtonian fluid, is what you're trying.
It's a concept of a tube.
All right. Speaking of concepts of a tube, let's get into these questions.
Please and thank you.
Go, Black Betty, ram.
All right. Let's I guess play some of these. So first question, we'll start off with Jake Miller.
What's up, guys? It's Jake from a sweet shop, and just calling in with a quick question about shop organization. So I am on a major organization kick right now, just trying to figure out ways to just optimize a lot of different things in my shop and set things up better for the future. So I actually have two questions for you. One is, what is the best thing that you have done for your shop as far as organization, and what is either the best or the coolest thing that you've seen someone else do that you want to do but haven't done yet? Thanks, guys.
Ooh, good question. Mine's brief, so I'll go first. The lev rack system is honestly the best organization system ever, like best use of space, and the fact that I'm able to store stuff on top and inside the rack, it's amazing. Full disclosure, I did get that as part of a deal that I worked out with lev rack, but knowing what I know now, if I, for example, was like, oh, I need to keep that one in there, and I'm like moving into a new space, I am setting aside $5,000-6,000 for a new one. And that's so the model I have, which is a 7-foot tall, with the extra bench on the side. So it's continuous racking on top. You can just load it up with stuff. And it's essentially, you can put pallets on it. It's that strong. It's freight racking, same stuff that you'd see in a Home Depot or whatever. But it's really easy to assemble, best with a buddy. And if you just want the racks themselves, you're looking at $3,000 and change for the base one, and then they go bigger. The best storage solution ever. It's the only reason I don't have a boatload of cabinets and random totes and boxes all over the place like I did at my old shop. And if I had to do it all over again, I would 100% pay for this thing. It's so worth it to me. Use code Petrie for the same exact amount. I have no affiliate code with them.
I agree 100%. Every time I go to your shop, I look at that thing and I'm like, God, I really need to get one of these because it is so nice.
And the only thing that I would do differently, and this is, I can't really do it in my space right now, but if I was going into a space the shop I'm still planning is 14 feet minimum high. I used to be 10 feet because I don't want to heat all that space, but no, 14 because loft. I want a loft space or loft office, like space above that. Like if I'm going to do it, let's maximize that square footage. Cause I would love to have an office or some kind of place to hang out or maybe record the podcast or whatever in there. But to not lose any shop space would be amazing, whether it's for material or whatever. I think lofts and shops are really cool. Plus, you just get to be up high and like see your shop, see your domain. Like
That is
everything the sun touches is yours.
That's one lofty goal.
I like what you said there, Dan, and I also like what you're gonna say. Go.
Oh, the best thing I've ever done by far is
Son.
no.
Oh.
Actually, no. That's not what I was going to say. Is become friends with Braden, because then I met Sutton.
There it is. I knew it. I knew that was coming.
That guy is great. He keeps me like grounded and on track, and he keeps me. He's like, if he sees something like that's super inefficient, he will not mince words. He'd be like, "Why are you doing that? Why don't we do this? This is way better." And like, I'm like, okay, let's do that. And I've made a lot of improvements because Sutton has been in my shop for the last several months. So I know that probably doesn't help you at all, Jake, but that's my real, true, actual answer.
Dan,
So-
does Sutton make you want to be a better man?
It kind of does.
Man, I feel like a Dunlap. Da, 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 da.
Braden, what have you done?
Oh wait, but what about
Yeah,
something? What's something that you've seen other people do that you're like, man, I want to do that. I want to implement it.
Your lev rack.
My love rack?
Seriously, I get nothing from lev rack. As a matter of fact, they've never reached out to me, and they're made in Nebraska.
Yeah, they are.
Are they really?
A bunch of Nebraska
What the
good
heck?
old boys.
Yes, they
They're-
are.
Where's
This story is
they at?
actually cool. It's it's literally farmers
I
that were
think
like, we got to store our tools and our parts for our
I
tractors somehow.
believe I want
They
to
made their
say
own.
Hastings, Nebraska, Braden, but I'm
We
not
might
100
be taking
percent
a
sure.
road trip here.
Yeah, the
yeah,
whole company's like
That lev
six
rack
guys.
is fantastic. I wasn't kidding when I said every time I go over to Pete's house, I just look at it and I'm like, maybe I should just buy it, because I have the perfect case scenario for that place.
One
that thing,
thing
and
of
I know
note,
where I'd put it to.
I will say this. One thing of note, a lot of garages are by design slightly sloped, just a couple of inches over from the back to the front by the doors.
Oh, I know.
So you can't set it up on that sloped wall, or if you do, you have to jack it up so that it's flat. Lindsay from Woodbrain could only use the one wall, and it actually like if she needs to get in the first rack, she has to like really push all the three other bays out of the way just to
really?
get in. Yeah. So it's something to keep in mind.
Good.
No
Yeah,
way.
point.
These guys are in Seward. I went
Oh,
to college.
Seward?
I went to college in Seward.
No way. Go Vikings.
Nope, it was a bad
So-
place. I did not last long, and there's now a explosives policy in their student handbook that was not there when I started.
What did you do to that bathroom?
Let's just say Omaha is small enough for me. Seward, Nebraska is a town of like 17 people when college is not in session. And my buddy and I had a bunch of fireworks and nothing to do on a Friday night. And we walked around campus lighting off fireworks. And they did not like it, especially in the dorm.
Oh,
The fire people were called.
Oh,
yikes. Well,
There was no damage. There was a
I
little bit of
think-
smoke.
We'll have to put aside some time some other week and get
We can-
the full story here.
We can deep dive into that.
boy. Well, Braden, speaking of deep dives, what about you?
You guys, this one's gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna start with the thing that I see in other shops that I really want. It's a friggin' lev rack system. Every time I go to Pete's place,
People are
I'm
gonna
like,
people are gonna think that we're sponsored by these guys.
we are not sponsored, but every time Pete, don't inflate your head past 73%. But your shop is smaller than most shops that I've seen, and yet it feels like you have so much more in there because you have laid it out really, really well. And I'm
Every
always
piece
really
of the
impressed.
buffalo gets used.
Same thing with Justin Bailey. Same thing with, Eric Spenceley worked out of like a 1-car garage with one outlet for a while. I'm always super impressed with all these really, really small, not really, really small, but these smaller shops that are they feel bigger, they feel more efficient, and it makes me feel bad because I have a fairly decently sized shop, and it just feels like I can't move because I've just got crap everywhere. So
It's okay. This is the year to do better.
I'm always trying to do better. I'm just not good at doing better.
Do gooder.
Do better at doing better. Okay.
And I don't have a Sutton. I've got mine on loan to the San Diego Zoo, like a panda
On
bear.
layaway.
Shoot, I can't even get Sutton to come over on weekends anymore because it used to be like
to be paid now.
it used to be like, hey, you want to hang out? Like, and he's like, yeah, woodworking is kind of cool. I want to learn. And now he's like, no, I don't want to go work on the weekends for free. I'm not here to volunteer my time. You got cash? I'm like, get out of here. You lived here for free for enough. Get your ass over here. And he's like, no, I gotta go to the gym for the third time a day. But I'm really impressed by a lot of the storage and a lot of the layout stuff that happens in really small shops. And Pete, you mentioned it, is like using every part of the buff. Like you've got to optimize your space. You've got to optimize workflow. It's almost like the bigger the shop, you don't have to necessarily optimize it because you just have space, which is fine. I'd much rather have so much space that I don't have to organize. But
yeah,
it definitely takes a lot less thinking. It's less creative.
That actually reminds me, Sutton and I were brainstorming today on how we could add a third CNC.
You're out of control.
Well, it's kind
I
of
can't wait to see
where
it,
like I need a third one, but like
You gotta talk to Kayla about moving.
Put it.
Yeah, you need more space.
I think we could double decker.
That's what he was saying, but I don't think it works with I don't think it works with the dust collection.
It would be hard.
Oh, we could definitely figure it out.
Wall mounted.
That was my option.
Would be neat.
Yeah, on that wall where the jointer used to be.
Yeah,
that could be an option.
Yeah, I think this could be fun. I'm real excited for this.
I don't know if it's going to happen. We were just starting to brainstorm today.
Perfect.
It would be nice
the way
if one CNC could be doing bow ties all the time, and then the other two, like one would do bow ties, one would do inserts, and one would do furniture. You know what I mean?
Dan basically is doing what a lot of us do, where we buy multiple like hand routers or like palm routers so that we can just not change the bits, except he's doing it with entire CNCs.
It's getting to the point where I kind of have to.
I can't wait to see this. And based on past experience, when you decide you want a new tool, I just got to wait like 6 days and it's on its way. So,
well, we'll see.
I mean, in terms of what works in my shop that I'm really happy for is Dan's seen it. I've got like a creepy second attic. So I actually do have that loft space for storage. And he does. It's so nice just being able to chuck shit up there. Pardon my French.
Must be nice.
And it's super hot in the summer.
It's very hot in the summer. And it's very cold right now. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Somehow having more space is my favorite thing. And having less space is the thing I dream for. So let's deal with that. Therapy.
All right, next question's from our one of our new listeners, Joe from the Offcut Emporium.
Hey guys, I'm finally running out of offcuts and Dan scraps and need to go and buy actual wood from a real lumber yard. Not going to lie, it's a pretty intimidating process. Any tips and tricks when shopping for hardwood?
Dan scraps are a trademark of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks. Use only as directed. Dan scraps have not been approved by the FDA as they are not fit for human consumption. Side effects may include mild to severe splinters, excessive mayonnaise consumption, the uncontrollable urge to start a new project before finishing the last one, clogged dust collectors, and an inexplicable attachment to oddly shaped pieces of wood. Do not use Dan scraps if you are allergic to sawdust, commitment, snapback hats, shipping Etsy orders on time, or if you have an unusually high libido. Consult your local Oma Bro to see if Dan scraps are right for you. Dan scraps, because every scrap deserves a second chance.
I have questions about the abnormally high libido part.
Well, you don't want to ruin your...
I mean, I have a lot of questions, but that's the question I start with.
Well, anyways,
that's not a problem I have.
What are some tips for buying hardwoods? Dan, since you're an expert at getting people fired from lumber yards. I mean, buying lumber at lumber yards. Go on.
Honestly, if you are new to going to any sort of lumber yard and it feels intimidating, if you go in there and like let them know that you're going to need help, most places would be more than happy to help you. Most places. I don't know if Liberty Hardwood in Omaha, Nebraska would be happy, but most places would.
They love when I walk in, Dan. I don't know what you did to them.
I don't know either.
I get the red carpet rolled out.
I
got
to.
a couple of free sheets of plywood the other day.
I used to. I don't know what happened.
You were yourself?
Perhaps. But yeah, nearly any hardwood dealer would be more than happy to walk you through the buying process. Most are quite nice.
Most.
Braden, tell us about your experience at this place.
I love Liberty. I mean,
I still like it. Their prices are great. I mean,
phenomenal.
You can't compete with their prices, which is like, it's really close to me. Like it's a 5-minute drive for me.
And they deliver for $25.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also.
Yeah. I would say, so the biggest difference between like going to Home Depot and buying wood and going to like an actual lumberyard and buying wood, and I think this is the most intimidating part about it, is it's not measured in linear feet, it's measured in board feet. And board feet is, what's the math? Is it like 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 inch?
Yep.
No, it's
1 foot wide, 1 foot deep by 1 inch thick.
Yeah.
It's one it's a volume measure.
That's
board.
1 board foot, but I thought we were trying to discuss how to calculate it. It's length times width
times height or thickness.
Times thickness, so it's like 1 inch, 1.5, whatever. And then divide that by either 12 if you're measuring by feet, or 144 if you're measuring by inches.
So my tip for all this is don't do any of that and go to the App Store and download a board foot calculator and then punch that in, and you can punch in what the cost is per board foot, your dimensions, and it'll spit out what, either what you need in terms of size or what your cost is. I have this happen so often, and I feel comfortable buying by board foot, where I'll go there and I'll add like 1 or 2 more things, and suddenly my bill has like tripled. And it's fine, but still, if you're not used to thinking in that kind of like unit of measurement, that can be really intimidating. And it's super easy just to download a calculator, and you don't have to show off for the guys that work there. Like you don't have to be an expert. You sit there, do the calculations, like figure out what the heck you're buying, and don't let yourself accidentally be like, not even bullied, but like I asked for this and I thought it was going to be this, and so now I'm going to buy it so I don't look dumb. That's not what's going to happen.
I actually never order by board feet. When I go in there and tell them what I want, I don't do board feet.
Because Dan's a man that knows what he wants, and what he wants is going to come to him through karma.
No, I'll go in there and I'll be like, I need 6 pieces of walnut as wide as I can get, 8 feet long, and whatever the board feet.
You don't even give them the unit of measurement.
Well,
no, I'm like, you guys figure out the measurements. I don't care what the measurements are.
That's how I order too. Like
you tell me what the board feet is.
But it can be real sticker shock if you don't know how it's calculated.
Yeah.
It's a real left turn if you're not used to it. So
right. I mean, I guess I am kind of like numb to that at this point because I order so much, but like, yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe that's why they don't like me, because I don't order correctly, quote unquote.
I think I'm about to solve the why Dan and my experience is so different too. If it's like a normal sawmill, something like that, where it's some gruff guys, like it's a pretty blue collar type place. First time you go in there, especially if you want to ask some questions and kind of look around and like take some time out, take a box of donuts with you and just give it to them.
Really?
Bribery. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean,
absolutely.
This guy running for office of Liberty Hardwoods.
That'll work.
You take some donuts in and
bring donuts to me,
like,
and then
hey, I've got a couple questions. Would you mind helping me out with it? Everybody will do so much more if you bribe them with food. So
true. And that's cheap too.
That's cheap.
That's a cheap bribe. I like it.
So cheap. Pete?
I agree with what you guys said. I would say also, one of the scariest things to do is go alone. Even if it's going with someone that doesn't know woodworking as well, just having another person there, so they're standing next to you when you're like, it just makes you, at least for me, like when I started going, like bringing Emma or a friend of mine, and like they don't know anything about woodworking either. One time I brought someone I actually knew, and they were able, if you can bring a buddy that knows the lumber yard or how to shop at one, bring them, because they'll be the confident one. They'll give you the confidence to do it right. But even just bringing someone else with you, you feel like it's like, trying to record a story at Home Depot and Menards. Like, you're all shy and stuff, but as soon as you're with a buddy, it's like, hey, like you got your phone out. Like, it's just more confidence. I don't know. It's the buddy effect. So I say bring a buddy with you. I think that helps. If you can't get a buddy, get a dog.
Bring a dog.
Bring a dog.
That's actually good. I used to take Max to Liberty.
Yeah.
Back when the manager was cool.
They banned dogs.
Good luck finding your dad.
All right, let's keep moving on these questions because we got a lot of them still. Next one's from Alex Adams.
Hey guys, I've got a burning question for you. When filling cracks and voids with deep pour epoxy, what kind of strategies do you use for popping the bubbles as you're applying heat, whether it be torch, heat gun, or another source? Because I'm curious about, is the heat directly pointed at it? Is it just kind of parallel to the surface? How frequently you're doing it? How long you are doing it before you stop so that you're not going to keep the epoxy from curing properly?
Deep pour epoxy takes a lot longer to start to set up than like a thin set, which means you've got like a day that you can, depending on obviously your temperatures, but you've got like 12 hours to a day that you can still keep going out there and popping those bubbles. Mm-hmm. I'm lazy. I just use the same butane torch that Dan and I take and test out whiskey smokers with, and I just torch them. I'll go out like once an hour or so just to shake them off the top, sort of thing, and that works pretty well. And I just point it right at it, and I'm like 6 inches away, but I adjust. If it's not popping, I'll get closer. If it is, don't set the wood on fire.
Right.
Dan?
I use the same torch. 45-degree angle, fast sweeps. You don't want to be holding the flame on the epoxy too long. You'll screw up the chemical composition, and it won't set properly. If you're going to be doing a lot of deep pours, using a lot of deep pour, like you're going to be doing river tables and stuff, get yourself something that you can degas the deep pour epoxy.
Gas X?
No, it's like a vacuum pump. You're pulling out all the air. That helps tremendously, but that's only if you're doing like huge pours. Like, I don't think you would need that if you're just filling cracks, though. Pete, epoxy expert, go.
Yeah, same thing. I use a butane torch. I get fairly close, but I just move it fast. Just wait for it to pop. Another thing you can try is if you use spray isopropyl alcohol, it's like rubbing alcohol on resin, it'll pop the bubbles because it breaks the surface tension. But you don't want to go ham. You don't want to just keep spraying it because it could just leave a little. It basically creates like they call it a fisheye effect or residue or whatever. But like that's if you go ham with it. But if you just, you see the bubbles rise and you're all just kind of chilling there, you spray it once, then they'll all go away. A little trick there for you. But yeah, get in there with that torch, baby.
We're talking about Taylor ham?
No, regular ham. Like just a regular, the kind of ham that like just is pressed into an ungodly blob of pink.
You can get that in Central Jersey, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm so hungry.
I am too.
Speaking of hungry, here's Alex Adam again.
Hey guys, what are you looking forward to the most at Workbench Con? And for those who are going to be there for their first time, what do you recommend they do to prepare for the event so that they're ready to make the most of it?
The second that beep happens, I forget the entire question.
I thought Pete did it, and I was about ready to yell at him.
No, mine's different. Mine's more refined. Mine is... See,
it's the exact same.
That was the exact same sound.
It's an industry standard. But that was not me. That is Alex throwing that.
That was basically the Motorola ringtone from the early thousands. It was standard and non-changeable.
Yeah. So I guess, what are you looking forward to most at Workbench Con? Was that the first question?
What are you looking forward to the most, and what would you recommend newbies do?
Well, I look forward to the most to the lobby and the hangouts and breakfast at Snooze with you guys.
Oh my
It's gonna
God,
be
I
great.
can't wait for Snooze.
It's so good. It's such a great recovery, right? But just hanging out with everyone, having a good time, being a little sore at the end of the day. And as far as just like from standing around all day, calm down. Wear comfy shoes. So what I would recommend is bring comfy shoes that you can stand in for a long time, because it's a lot of standing on like tile and whatnot, or like the thin, conference area carpet. Something comfy. Bring Pedialyte, because you're gonna just be dehydrated. Just from, even if you don't drink or whatever, you're just gonna be up and about a long amount of time, and it helps. If you drink, especially, bring Pedialyte and some Advil, and I don't know, maybe do a little research on like places to eat and things like that, because a lot of times people will go like, "Where do we eat?" Do not, for the love of God, get breakfast in the lobby. It's like $50 and it tastes like
awful.
Just awful. It's so bad. It's like, it's continental breakfast, but it's like they just charge it to your room and it's super expensive. It makes no sense.
It's continental, but it's not free continental breakfast. And it's the same as free continental breakfast. It's
it's not worth it. Not worth the money. So that's my 3 tips. Braden?
What am I looking forward to? Probably the flight back. No,
my first class seat on the way there.
I'm most looking forward to just hang out. I like these events, not because I'm going to try and learn. I probably should change that about myself. But here's the thing: like we've been around a lot of these people in the industry, to where if we have questions about the stuff that they're teaching, we generally just ask them. So
like who would you ask?
Who would I ask?
Yeah, give some names.
No, I'm not you. I'm not here to name drop. I like to keep my relationships secret.
Ooh.
Wow,
a gentleman.
So I'm mostly excited just to see everybody. I love the lobby. If nobody's, I don't know if anybody's noticed, our Discord is called the lobby. It's a WBC reference.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah. Do you get
I thought that
Does
was
it make
just
sense?
like a. I thought that
just
was like a standard
before you
Discord.
get into like the,
yeah.
No, that's I did that because I like bits. I like references, but
I like bits and bits.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of bits and bits, welcome to
use code AWP.
I'm so excited for Snooze. God, that was so good. So good.
Did we just
Snooze
tell
is a
everyone the best
breakfast joint
spot?
that's pretty close to the hotel. Did we
freaking
walk there?
lines. Yeah, no. We had to drive and reserve.
Yeah, no. It was actually in it was outside downtown Atlanta.
Honestly,
Actually,
I'm pretty sure they closed.
I'm sorry. Were we saying? I forgot. It's not Snooze. It's Nap.
Yeah.
Nap Breakfast and Eatery. It's on the south side of the Battery. In terms of like advice for new people, this is very much my do as I say, not as I do piece of advice. Especially, it's going to be my 3rd year going, and I'm still going to do this. If it's your first time, there's almost no way that you cannot do this. Don't give in to FOMO. There is going to be something going on with some group of people at all times until, and I wish I was exaggerating, sometimes like 5 o'clock in the morning.
By the way, FOMO is not fear of mayonnaise overdose. It's fear of missing out.
Yeah. Do not worry that you're going to miss out on the stories, because everywhere else, there's also more stories. There's more stuff to do. There's more fun to have. If you are like exhausted, especially like that 2nd or 3rd day, go take a nap. Do it.
Oh, yeah.
You can take an hour out of you're not going to miss so much fun that the whole trip's not worth it if you go take a nap for an hour.
Yeah, leave in the middle of the day. Just hide.
Just disappear. Go to your room. Don't even take a nap. Watch some TV. Like, just get off your feet. Just hang out.
You've talked me into it. Okay.
If you see me at like 3:30 in the morning in the lobby, do not remind me that I gave you this advice, because I am the worst at following my own advice. Like, I will raw dog myself through this entire like 5 days, and then I just die when I get home. But I'm a professional. I've done this for like professional work for years. Like my body is used to this. Don't be me. Yeah, I mean that's my biggest piece of advice. Also, if you're trying to go to dinner, the more you're going to want to invite a bunch of people because you want to hang out with them. The more people you invite to anything, any meal, the more you're going to hate everything.
Yeah.
You're not going to hate it when you get there, but coordinating groups is a nightmare. Do not ask Pete to coordinate. Do not ask me to coordinate. We did our time last year. We did our time in the trenches. Dan's in charge.
Nope.
We coordinated several 20
just because I'm going to be sober this year,
which are nightmarish.
Yeah. This year, if we all say like, hey, we're meeting here and we're leaving at this time, I will not come find you, Jesse Riggs. I am leaving with the first bus, the first Uber, the first walk. I'm headed there and I'm putting in my order because I'm hungry. So
pudding.
That's my advice. Dan, what you got?
What am I looking forward to? It's the same, just seeing everybody in person. It's cool the amount of friends that one can make on the internet. So it's fun to see all those faces in person. I'm a big people person, which is weird for me to say. I never used to be until I reached like my late 30s. Anyways, one piece of advice is I agree with everything that these two said, but also bring extra space in your luggage because you are going to take home a bunch of swag.
Swag
every year. Workbench Con, if anything, is known for having a huge swag bag. So not only do we get a swag bag, but there's a very good likelihood that you're going to get more swag from a bunch of the vendors that are there as sponsors. So you're going to want extra space to take all that stuff home.
Ooh,
and find somebody that can drive it home and ship it to you. Well, actually, there's a UPS office right in the hotel. You can go to the you could ship
I got to fly back with the stuff this year. Ooh.
Oh, that's right. You're not driving this year. You can't do that.
Oh, we're not going to have a car. What?
No, we're not going to have a car.
What is happening? What do we do? We don't have an Emma to save us from ourselves. Nope. We don't have a car.
You got me. Don't worry. I'm going to be responsible. I swear.
You're going to walk everywhere or just Uber places. That's it.
I'm going to be honest, Dan. I love you to death. You saying I'm going to be the responsible one kind of terrifies me a little bit.
Yeah, a little scary. I don't like it.
You're just going to be like,
makes me feel so great that you guys trust me that much. I love it.
No, because you're going to be like, I'm not drinking. I'm going to triple boom boom stick at 4 a.m. and we're going to find you nude in a Waffle House or something like that.
Boom, boom,
oh, that was
boom,
another
boom.
piece of advice. Actually, late night Waffle House runs. Awesome. There's a Waffle House within walking distance. Go late night.
I'm in bed by 1 and asleep by 3.
I wouldn't know what Waffle House is late at night,
gentlemen.
Daniel.
Oh yeah, Braden didn't get the invite. Neither did I.
I've been trying to get to Waffle House for some reason.
All right, we're going. You and me,
years.
Braden. Screw Pete. We'll go.
Wow. Okay, cool.
The first year, I almost sucker punched Patrick Enzel on the way to a Waffle House.
That's a story for another time.
And now they're best friends. And now he's letting him put prints inside his printer. That is a euphemism.
And a true fact. Okay.
All right, let's keep going through these questions. We got 2 more. Next one's from Sarah.
Hey girlies, so I messaged in the Discord a little bit about it. Also, fun fact, I think I'm the only girl in there, but my garage is freezing. Part of it is open at the floor because the floor is uneven, so it gets a lot of cold in. I have one outlet that is usable for the garage, and even if I do an extension cord for like everything plugged in, the heater takes up a lot of power, so I'm kind of unsure what to do because I have a lot of stuff to make. My shipping table is also my epoxy table, which is also my glue up table apparently for cutting boards. So yeah, anything you would suggest, let me know.
I remember those days.
Was there a specific question there?
Well, yeah. What do you recommend for like basically keeping warm in the shop? Like, what
look,
do you recommend to?
I was there once. In the same garage I'm in now. When I first started doing all this, I ran everything out of one outlet in my shop, and it was an extension cord. And I will just say this: don't do what I did. I had a propane heater in there to help keep warm.
Yeah, don't do that.
and I was getting headaches really bad, and it's because those propane heaters give off carbon monoxide. So be careful.
When you were doing that, did you have the garage doors open, or was this pre-garage door open Dan?
It was pre-garage door open Dan, because at the time it was really, really cold, and I didn't have Max then. First of all, I only do the garage doors open because I have Max. I love that dog more than my own life, so I will open the doors for him.
Can confirm.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have any like real good solid advice other than, make improvements as you can. Don't go out of your way to try to make all the improvements all at once, especially if you can't afford it. Just do a little bit as you can, and you'll get there. It's just going to take some patience and some time. What do you guys say?
Braden?
I think this answer changes on one criteria, and that's longevity in the space.
Also, she has very limited customizability of that space. It is not her garage. It is her parents' garage.
That makes it even harder.
So in that case, longevity is probably, this is not like a
add lines.
She's not going to add lines. This is not going to be like a forever shop sort of thing. This is a now shop, which means everything that you do needs to be temporary and removable. If it was me, I think that the propane heater is an option.
It's an option. Just be careful.
I don't like keeping.
Make sure you can vent it outside occasionally or something. You need fresh air.
It's difficult because you kind of it has to put off enough heat to counteract having the door cracked halfway open or something like that,
right?
So that you can get the fresh air in. So that could be a really big heater, and depending on the size of the garage, you may have they make those big tube ones that put off a ton of heat, but then you've got a flamethrower pointing at you. Depending on how big the garage is, that may not be the best option. I would figure out a way to run an extension cord from inside to outside so that you can get a heater on a separate circuit and close the garage door so that you're getting some insulation. This is a little janky, but you can get the pink plastic insulation foam and attach it temporarily to walls. I mean, because they're big sheets. So you could theoretically, go and attach those to some of your, most of the walls, and you could start to insulate the shop with it still being removable.
True. That's not bad.
That's what I would do, is I would try and figure out where you can insulate, and I would try and get the heater on a separate circuit so that you're not taking up the one outside outlet or the one outside circuit. That is a lot of these tools are going to need that kind of power, at least with like starting up, your initial amperage. You don't want to overload those. So I would try and find a way to add a second circuit, like coming from outside or inside. Peter?
Yeah. So as far as if you're looking to stay in a garage during this cold time, I'd say look into like door draft guards. Like they're almost like long tube filled with something that's got a little weight to there. So like people throw them up against the doors if they don't want to insulate them properly. But you can line that and kind of, prevent air from escaping while you're in there. Just kind of have it tied up against that. But I think, I'm going to give the answer knowing what Sarah is doing. She's not running a table saw joiner, all that stuff. She's got a chop saw. She's doing a lot of turning and obviously glue ups, other things. I think this is a good time to, and we've talked about this before, pivoting your woodworking to indoor friendlier things. Like she started doing a little resin projects, coasters, other things like that. I think that's obviously she's doing that indoors because the cold, we can't do it outside. But lean into stuff like that. Maybe see if you can set up your pen turning somewhere inside the house. Or
I thought she had already done that. I thought she had made like some sort of like temporary.
That was in her last apartment. So she had it. Yeah, she had it there. But essentially try to move as much of your projects indoors. And it's also a good thing to maybe like tackle some other like smaller crafts that might be good. Also, it's a great way to grow the business because you're trying some new stuff. I think pivoting to indoors is the way to do it. Like right now, I don't want to go outside. It's too cold. And I have an insulated shop and a heater. But it's still cold. It takes a while to heat it up. It's still kind of, you feel the chill even with the heat going. So if you can avoid it and still get some stuff done, I think it's worth going inside. Honestly. So
that's one of the reasons why I always keep my heater running, is because what takes the longest to heat up is all the tools and everything, like
cast iron,
the cast iron and the concrete and all that stuff. They really hold in the cold, so like it takes forever to get those warmed up again.
Like
so
little
once
ice
they're warmed
cubes.
up, it's not so hard to keep the shop warm.
And they keep that warmth for a while and then warm up your shop. Like it just circulates. So yeah, I mean, if you could keep it at a temperature, that's honestly the best thing. But insulating a garage that isn't insulated, or I'm sorry,
that would help. That would help a lot.
If you could insulate it, that'd be nice too.
Because the warmth stays in the garage and it doesn't escape.
Yep.
I like it.
You guys think like a conventional heater versus like one of those infrared heaters would make a big difference? Like the ones where it doesn't heat up the air, it heats up the stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Honestly, one that has a small like fan as part of it. They're like taller standing ones, I think, are good because you can put it on the ground right behind you, and it's like loading. It's warming up your feet up to your butt and back. That's the move.
In a shop space, I feel like you need to have something that's going to move air and not just be radiant.
Oh, yeah. Those battery powered jackets and sweatshirts would probably probably not be a bad idea too.
Not a bad idea. Or
that'll keep her warm, but not the projects and the tools.
Go full Dan. Just open up the garage door, fire pit in the front driveway. Just burn scraps all day to stay warm.
S'mores stuff.
I forgot to mention that in What's on My Bench. We did s'mores today.
Oh, that's right. You did s'mores. I'll add it in the notes. Don't worry.
Right. We see all these companies that are talking about like return to office stuff, and everybody's like having a hard time with the corporate world these days. And then we got Dan over here doing unlimited sushi lunches and s'mores halfway through the day.
I don't want that guy leaving me. I got to keep him happy.
We all need to figure out how to get on board at Daniel Dunlap Inc.
Dan needs to sell more product so he could pay for more help. That's
all right. Speaking of more help, last question from Jeff from Maker's Way.
Hello, my beautiful boyfriends. Tree Poppy Jeffe here. I know we all wait too long to empty our dust collectors, but how often do you boys clean your saw blades? Do you clean them all at the same time? Table saw, miter saw, radial arm saws, track saw? Or do you wait until the cut is so bad that you screw up a whole project? Also, do you set a recurring day for shop maintenance, including saw blade cleaning, dust collection emptying, putting new duct tape on tools to hold them together, cleaning laser mirrors, etc.? Thanks in advance. Big forehead kisses to each of you.
That's a great question. I used to have maintenance days like once every 6 months. I think right now it's like once a year, but I like the method of using the daylight savings because it's like the most useless of holidays. Just use that to swap the batteries in your smoke detectors. And then also, test all your tools and wash your bits. So I at least once a year to twice a year will have a maintenance day. As far as washing blades, I don't wash my blades as much as I should. I don't clean them until I do that first cut and I go, that cut like crap. and then I wash it or clean it and throw it back in. And I'm like, okay, I don't have to buy a new one. Thank goodness. So it's definitely... I wouldn't say I ruin a whole project, but I often will make a cut or run one pass on a router bit and go, this is filthy. I need to clean it. It's barely cutting. So if you're seeing burning, it's time to clean. What do you guys think?
I can't remember the last time I cleaned my saw blades.
When's the last time Sutton did it?
No, Sutton's never done it either. Oh. I've never even mentioned it to him. I don't think he even knows the thing that needs to happen.
He doesn't know it comes out.
No. I mean, I use cheap blades on my table saw and my miter saw. So if they get dull or whatever, if they get too much pitch on them, I'll just pitch them.
Oh, I
go buy
the benefit to using Temu saw blades.
Yeah, I mean, I have that cool micro jig blade cleaner thing, which works great, by the way.
Yeah. I got it too. Yeah.
But I don't do it that often. I mean, I'm not burning wood currently. I wonder, do you think you could put saw blades in the dishwasher if you loaded the dishwasher with Simple Green?
Kayla is going to murder you.
Did you see?
You're going to be murdered to death.
Do you see somebody bought the biggest Vivor Sonic cleaner and they put a blade in there and all the paint came off the side?
Yeah, Scotty Walsh did it. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
He did it after he saw that I bought one for CNC bits.
Yeah, which is also very smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually works really good, by the way. Really good. Braden.
I'm in the middle of Pete and Dan. I don't have set cleaning days, but I'm aware that I probably do need to do it sometimes. So
I'm aware. I just don't.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. I will occasionally act on the fact that I'm aware that I should be cleaning them. So I usually wait until, like Pete said, if I go to cut something, I'm like, man, is this blade dull? There's no way this blade is dull. And then I'll clean it and it cuts so clean. And I'm like, I should be better, but I'm not. I'm not going to be better. I don't know. Every 5 or 6 months, I'll clean something.
Yeah,
that's kind of it.
Yeah, it's never all things at once. I think I used to do more of a maintenance day and be like, oh, I'm going to redo my cast iron and clean the blades. Now it's like,
my table
today
saw.
I'll handle the laser. I'll do
my
the mirror.
table saw needs a good loving on the top.
Mine too. Dude, mine still has a beer can imprint, like a rust spot that I cleaned up just enough, but like the
soda can,
there.
Pete.
Soda can, sorry. The Zima. But like that's still from my neighbor did that the last month we were at the old house still. This is almost 4 years ago. So it's been
no wonder why you moved.
And that's why Pete had to move.
I had to move. Yeah.
They never found the body. That's why I moved out in the woods. It's so much more convenient.
We've been doing glue ups on the tabletop. Like so it looks
if Kayla's not gonna kill you for the dishwasher, some woodworker's gonna kill you for that.
Come on over.
Metaphorically, not literally.
Come on over, baby.
They do keep coming over. They're just other patrons. We're somehow
I kill them with charm.
Is that what that is? Charm?
I'm charming AF.
Speaking of charming AF,
Dan?
What?
This is the end of the episode.
Oh, is that? Are we done?
That's it. We're done.
Oh,
what do you mean? You sound so surprised. We're gonna hit.
I thought we had another question. I was like,
speaking of charming,
our patrons are charming. Thank you to our patrons. You help us stay charming as well, and we like that, and we thank you. So if you want to join our patrons and get access to the Discord, get the podcast episode early, get in on our giveaways that we're doing all year.
Wow.
Go join our Patreon.
I heard a rumor.
Patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcast. Or just go to iloveawp.com.
That'll do.
That'll do, pig. All right.
And a huge shout out to our sponsors, WTB Woodworking. Make sure to go check out WTBwoodworking.com/giveaway to enter the giveaway for the, was it the Mini Mate 4, the Fuji sprayer?
Yeah, Fuji
you can still win
sprayer,
that. That is running all the way through the event of Workbench Con. So after you sign up at WTBwoodworking.com/giveaway, head over to workbenchcon.com and grab a ticket. And we've got a code for you. Use code AWP to save $50. We're passing the savings on to you. So we hope to see you guys all there in just a hair over a month. I can't believe that's going to be insane. But
good job.
Maybe we'll run into you guys at the PA store, WTB Woodworking, or we'll run into you at the Atlanta event.
The Naps breakfast joint.
Yeah, Naps breakfast.
Definitely not snooze.
Nope. We're gonna call them for reservations now. Gotta do it. Why do we even mention it? It's so dumb, Peter. So dumb.
God.
We should do a patrons walk to the Waffle House at midnight.
And then everyone does their own order.
Let's do a patron breakfast. I mean, everybody's going to have to go to the restaurant past Snooze. We will be stopping at Snooze. There's not enough room. Sorry.
And then there's that burger joint just past Naps.
That
burger spot. But
that was good.
Yeah, it's always really good. Yeah, the fries. Remember?
But seriously, we should
fries?
We should do a patron only midnight run to the Waffle House.
I like the idea, but let's do a patron event that's not at midnight and waffle.
Yeah.
Well, we can
waffle.
This weeds out the week.
So, are you saying you're trying to have a waffle party?
Yeah.
At midnight.
Yeah.
If we drop it to, never mind.
No, all right.
What's that burger place that's just up the street from Waffle House too? That we bribed our way into.
Was that the Shake Shack? What was that?
I think it was
Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake, and I think we just like handed them a wad of Nick Brim's money, and they let us in and watched us. Just
Daddy Nick Bucks.
bumble around. Watch the Discord. I think we'll put on kind of like the pizza party at Maker Camp.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out to celebrate you.
And if we find a fancy place, we'll do a family dinner where we all just buy our own meals. If we can't afford it, we'll at least do a thing together.
If we go to what we go to that last year, the yard.
Yeah,
with the lobster pasta.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, the lobster pasta. And then when the first thing Dan does is ask the waitress if he can tell her that she smells nice. And
she agreed.
Like, why, Dan?
And she said thank you.
With hesitation.
You hadn't paid or tipped yet.
So many regrets in her face.
But she seemed nice. I was being genuine. I wasn't trying to be creepy. I was just
being genuine and no regrets. Next week we have Handy Dandy Brandy joining us.
And we won't talk about how I asked her or how I told the girl she smells nice. We don't talk about that anymore.
Your Zoom video looks like you smell nice. And guys, if I can ask everyone a small favor, that is, instead of listening to our podcast this week, which you're probably already listened to it, or the next one, go on youtube.com/anotherwoodshop podcast, play the video in your shop, play it out loud. That's how I want you to listen to it, because we're so close to finally monetizing that channel. And I think in 2025 we can do it. So we'd love to get those numbers up.
We're going to make ones of dollars.
Ones of dollars. Yep. So make sure to go check that out. And we'll see you guys all next week. Love y'all. Bye, 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 bye.
Bye, 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 bye. Bye.
Love you long time.
Bye.
Love you long.
Bye.
Time.
Love you. Bye.
Long time.
Good night. Bye.